Hi, my name is Ying. I am a nursing major at the University of Vermont. I'm a senior and I studied abroad in China through the Yunnan program. So I went to Yunnan University this summer of 2013. So my particular reasons for studying abroad, I'm what people call an ABC, American-born Chinese, and oftentimes within our communities, the group of ABCs often don't have a close connection to our culture because we're not particularly fluent in Chinese, and oftentimes that can that hinders the communication between our parents and other people within our community. And communication is a big part of understanding the culture. So I went abroad in order to become more fluent in Chinese and get closer to my culture. There's particular reasons for choosing the Yunnan University was because it was listed mainly as a sole study abroad program in China that was closely connected with the University of Vermont. So the study abroad process for that was way easier. And I also had put in a tuition deposit for that the year prior, but I couldn't go abroad that summer due to several barriers. So barriers for studying abroad. Because I am a nursing major, there's a strict curriculum that we have to follow. So there's only one program that the nursing majors could go to, and it's in Australia during junior year, and I wasn't interested in going to Australia. So I had to look outside for study abroad programs that would only be within the winter break or the summer term because I couldn't go during the academic term because I would be in the hospital for my clinicals. But the thing about programs that are on these breaks is that UVM doesn't fund those programs. So your scholarships, financial aid grants, they don't go on those programs because it's not during the academic year. So getting the funding for my study abroad experience was a bit of a struggle too. As for solving that issue, I applied to the Gilman Scholarship, and eventually, after multiple drafts of personal statements and revising the whole application, I became a Gilman Scholarship. I won the Gilman Scholarship and was able to go to China. That the scholarship essentially paid for half of my trip, so that was a huge help. Interesting stories of when I was in China. There's this one interesting story that I always tell because I think it's like the only interesting story that I have. But I overheard one of my tourmates, let's call her A, one day complaining about her rash, and me having the slight medical background that I have, I got excited. I was like, oh, show me, right? So she showed me. I was like, oh, okay, your rash is like confluent and peachy and like small dotted. But I was like, wait, there's this one test that you always do for rashes. I was like, okay, let's do the blanch test, which is what you call the test. So you press down on the particular spot that the rash has, because it has multiple spots. Just choose one, press down on it, and then let go. And if the space turns white and then pink, that means it's epidermal because the rash is only within the skin layer. But if it doesn't turn color, so if you see the dot throughout the whole blanch test, then that means it's underneath the epidermis, it's within your blood. And if it's within your blood, then you need to go see a doctor, because what if it's a virus? You need antibiotics for that then. So I was like, oh my god, you should go to the hospital. But at the same time, I was trying not to scare her. And so I grabbed the professor and I was like, okay, I think A needs to go to the hospital. Her rash needs to see because of a rash, she needs to see a doctor. But then our professor was like, are you sure it's not just something she ate? We are in China and maybe she has food allergies, or like it's just a slight irritation in her skin. I was like, I don't think so. But then he dragged us all the way to the pharmacy, and then I had to explain to the pharmacist and our professor once again. So I was convincing two people at once, and also A, because she was still hesitant, that no, it was not allergic reaction, because if it was an allergic reaction, she would have a histamine release, and histamine causes itchiness, and she's not itching at all. And then I also had like the paranoid thought of, oh my god, what if she develops a fever? overnight. And if she develops a fever overnight, we don't have antibiotics for that. She's going to end up in the hospital anyway. So it's better to have what we call preventative, the first step, primary intervention, than have like a tertiary intervention. So she went to the hospital with our professor. Turns out she had a small case of measles. It's supposed to be like childhood measles, but I was like, how is that even possible? Didn't you get immunized? And she's like, I don't know, I must have been like immunocompromised or whatnot. So that was interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, okay, I'm gonna sound like I'm bragging when I say this, but I'm pretty sure that if I didn't tell her to immediately go to hospital, she probably would have like let the rash stay for a few days until it got really bad and she got really sick and then gone to the hospital. So that was my interesting story from my time abroad in China. What I would say to people who are going abroad in general is don't give up, especially if the financial aspects are looking incredibly grim and the academic aspects are really harsh right now. If you can see your goal in your sight, aim straight for it. Don't get distracted by too many things, even though it feels so incredibly stressful in your life. There's a Chinese saying, if there is a will, there is a way, and I believe many people